show their gratitude. On Monday, students were given the opportunity to write appreciation songs. On Tuesday, students wrote personalized poems. On Wednesday, students recorded yoga videos. On Thursday, students sent thank you videos, and on Friday, students sent their counselors personalized e-flyers. The freshman class of 2024 began their highly anticipated distribution day yesterday. The freshmen were able to drive through their parking lot to pick up their school supplies, books, Valentine candy, and hand sanitizer. The juniors and sophomore classes will have their time next week, starting on the 17th. A drive-through memory lane event will take place on February 24th, where seniors will be able to drive through the Rowland High School parking lot and relive some of their best memories by looking at picture walls of past events from their years at high school. We will also be distributing a senior class picture, as well as some highly anticipated books, school supplies, Valentine hearts, and candy and hand sanitizer that was donated to us by a local business. Rowland ASB held its first fundraiser of the year with the Valentine Grants fundraiser. Up until last week, students were able to order baskets of goods on our Rowland High School website that was available for pickup yesterday on the 10th, or they could have chosen to have it delivered tomorrow on the 12th. We featured 4 different baskets with different goods depending on its theme. The Valentine basket includes a teddy bear, the movie night themed basket includes popcorn, the baking themed basket includes cake mix, and the spa themed basket includes face masks and scented candles. Random Acts of Kindness Week will fall on the 3rd week of February, which is the 15th through the 19th. Each day will have a small activity for students to participate in to spread kindness. Monday's task will be to give a compliment to someone. Tuesday's task will be to send someone an e-flyer. Wednesday's task will be to text someone something nice. Thursday's task will be to send a kind picture to someone, and Friday's task will be to send someone they haven't talked to in a while a nice message. Rowland High School continues to participate in various service projects. The National Honor Society is collecting new blankets for a local homeless shelter, while EnviroSci and Hooked Club are collecting plastic bags to make beds for the homeless. ASB made positive message cards for the district Heart and Soul event. And the weekly Wednesday video presentations, which is shown in the 3rd period classes, began with segments on various topics such as Black History Month as well as Chinese New Year. Some of our athletic programs are returning to conditioning and possibly competition. Cross country, swimming, boys and girls tennis, golf, and track and field have or will be conditioning this week. We are hopeful that the Los Angeles County of Health will be allowing more sports to return in the near future. ASB will release a video every Wednesday of the month of March that will be shown in the 3rd period homeroom classes for our virtual Renaissance Assembly. Each video is dedicated to a different class, and the assembly aims to recognize students for their academic excellence for the first semester. Those who received a 3.0 GPA or higher will be receiving a custom sticker available for pickup in the hideout. This concludes my presentation. Rowland students will continue to be examples of thinkers, communicators, and contributors, and ASB has remained persistent in trying to give our students the best high school experience we can give them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Joseph. And next we have Santana High School, Hector Prado.
Sorry about the camera quality, I'm sorry.
Okay, we can hear you. Go ahead, Hector.
So good evening, board members and Dr. Mitchell. My name is Hector Prado. You probably recognize me name from the Christmas commercial for Santana ASB. And I'm here to share with you news from Santana High School. ASB started the month of February with Black History Month projects that we sent to our homerooms to research and develop. Homerooms have many project choices that range from presenting and speaking about the first African Americans in sports, to reporting on famous African American authors, to creating a video of Black history and culture in America. We look forward to seeing what each homeroom creates and shares with school as we learn more through these Black History Month projects. February 14th is Valentine's Day, and we have a virtual Valentine's bingo that we are sending out to each homeroom to enjoy for Valentine's Day. Today is National Make a Friend Day. ASB sent out a video sharing this information with our Santana students, encouraging them to reach out and connect with someone today, especially at this time with the pandemic. ASB wrote notes of support and encouragement for students who will be receiving new shoes through the Family Resource Center. We were asked to create notes of positivity that will be in the box of each student who will be receiving a new pair of shoes. We hope our encouraging words will bring smiles and hope to their recipients. ASB has also interviewed another teacher, and we sent out that interview so the students and staff can get to know another Santana teacher a little better. It is our hope to try and bring unity and a sense of Santana community through our interviews of teachers and staff. Our t-shirt and hoodie fundraiser is moving forward. We have our money, and we are waiting for a check to be sent to the printing company. As soon as the company receives the check, we will make our shirts and hoodies. We hope to be seeing our shirts and hoodies soon. Santana students are working hard to recover and earn credits as we move closer to graduation. We already have a few students who are graduating at the end of this month. They have worked very hard to attain this exciting goal, and we are very proud of them. The Accrediting Commission for Schools, the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, announced that continuation Santana High School meets the WASC criteria for accreditation based on information provided by the school, including a self-study report and the satisfactory completion of the recent first-of-its-kind virtual accreditation visit. The Commission has granted Santana High School the maximum 6-year accreditation status with a mid-cycle one-day visit through June 30, 2027. We would like to take the opportunity to send out our heartfelt thanks to both, and I apologize if I say these incorrectly, Miss Angelena Pride and Miss Line LCAP for both their years of service to the Rowland Unified School District and their unwavering support of the students at Santana High School. The students and staff at Santana are grateful for both of you and all the support that you two have given us over the years. We wish you both all the best as you move forward into this new chapter of your lives. We will greatly miss both of you. And the students of ASB would like to wish all of the board members and cabinet a happy Valentine's Day. We hope you and your families are doing well and you are all staying safe. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hector. And on behalf of Lynn and myself, thank you for the kind words. And also, my check is here at the district office for my t-shirt or sweatshirt. So it should be delivered to your campus here really soon because I'm looking forward to getting that. And thank you again.
Thank you.
So next we will move on to our staff report on the local control accountability plan. We will get an overview of the process for renewing the current RUSD Learning Continuity and Attendance Plan 2020-2021 and LCAP 2019-2020 and the process for updating the LCAP for the 2021-2022 academic year. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mitchell or Dr. Zamora.
You can turn it to me, and I'm going to flip it right over to Dr. Zamora.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. So tonight, as was indicated by our board president, I will be providing an overview of the revision process of our local control and accountability plan, better known as the LCAP. Next slide, please. Why the LCAP? Well, the LCAP is a plan that reflects our district priorities, both programmatic and budgetary, and must be revised and updated on a yearly basis. It also contains the 8 state priorities, which we align our district goals to, and we also have metrics that are aligned to these 8 state priorities that are part of our district dashboard. So this plan encompasses a connection between our the state priorities, our local goals, and the outcomes on our dashboard. The LCAP also provides a process that ensures that our stakeholders are able to provide input, that we have accountability and that we address the needs of our students. Next slide, please. These are the 8 state priorities that every district in the state of California must align their goals to and must address on the local control and accountability plan. You can see here student achievement, student engagement, our students coming to school, that's what it means by student engagement. Parental involvement, how involved are our parents in our schools? Do they have opportunities and do they engage in processes that involve decision making? The implementation of the state standards is critical. That's how we deliver our curriculum. Our curriculum is aligned and our pedagogy is aligned to address the state standards. Basic services, we need to make sure that our students have teachers that have the correct credentials. Course access, we need to make sure that all students have access to the core courses, including higher level classes such as IB and AP courses, and A through G as well. School climate, how do we have our students deal with feeling welcome and feeling safe in our schools? That's critical. That also includes the rates of suspension and expulsion, as well as safety around school environment. Student achievement is the scores on the SBAC that our students take both in English language arts and math. Next slide, please. So these are the steps that here in Rowland we take every year, with the exception, of course, of last year because we had a very different year. But we are very much involving of our community. So we make sure that we get feedback from our students, our teachers, our parents, our community. They all have opportunities to provide feedback as well as give us their thoughts on how we can better serve our students. When it says community, that also involves definitely our classified as well as any community partners that want to be part of this process. Any community meeting is open to our teachers, our classified staff, our administrators, whether or not somebody has students in the district, but if they have a business in the area and they want to be part of this process, they can also join as part of our community. So through the process, we have to make sure that we are not only analyzing how we did in following our plan, but we are also making updates to ensure that the plan that is created for the following year has alignment to our local goals and the state priorities. This year, we have to not only reflect on the progress on our learning continuity and attendance plan, which is a one-year plan, but we also have to look at the 2019-2020 local control plan because we did not have that opportunity last year. So this year we're doing a little bit of double duty, but it's all aligned to student achievement. Next slide, please. So this is the part that we make sure happens here in Rowland. And in the past years, since I have been here, it has been a great joy to see how we engage students in getting their thoughts and their feedback. The previous years, we've gone out and held group meetings at the site. This year, we're going to be doing that virtually, and we're going to continue the tradition of involving our students in conversations about what their needs are as well as what they believe is going well. And sometimes they give us these wonderful ideas and they talk about how they are engaged in their school and how they listen to other students with regards to what they believe will enhance their experience in our schools. Again, we involve our parent community and staff. We have meetings with our parents through DLAC, through the superintendent, parent council. We also involve our associations. We have meetings with ARE and CSEA. So we want to make sure that all stakeholders have an opportunity to give us their feedback and their thoughts, not only on the current plan, but also on the plan that is to come. Next slide, please.
Commissioner Venegas, right? Is at the meeting you're going to present the plan to the parents?
Well, the first meeting is to talk to them about what they believe is going really well. Of course, we always want to come from a positive place. And what they believe their children need to be successful. And in many cases, I'm happy to say that our parents in our community don't just think about their own child. They typically tend to talk about the students as a whole. And so at the first meeting, there's a lot of conversation. I was part recently of the superintendent parent council meeting, and we broke up in small groups. And there's a lot of conversation around what's going well, what is it that you believe is supporting your students' educational experience, and then we go into what do you believe needs to happen to place either that it's not happening or needs to be adjusted, modified, or is not working at all. And so we take input. The second meeting, we do engage them in showing them the draft of the plan. So it's the second meeting because it does take us a while to go through all of these processes and come up with a draft, and then we involve them in sharing with them the draft and getting again their feedback and their thoughts.
So we do collect their comments and incorporate with the feedbacks in the end of we're going to have a survey in May.
Yes, we do send a survey out.
Is that survey for the community members, parents only, or is that including other staff also students?
Well,
or anyone can participate in the survey.
So we definitely do students separate. The community survey, we have a lot of employees that live in the community. So they can give us input as well as part of the community. It involves parents, it involves anybody that lives in the community. I know Dr. Huff does a great job in making sure that they can distinguish between are they a parent in the school district or are they a community member who does not have children in the school district. The expectation of the state is that we involve our stakeholders and anybody in the community that's a business owner is a stakeholder. So they give us their input, and as you know, we take a lot of input and we look at our goals and we look at our state priorities and we look at our funding and many things we can do and some things we can't. Some things that we get definitely align to our mission and vision and our goals, and some things are not possible. We can't make them happen, but we definitely want to hear from everybody because it takes the collective capacity to come up with the best plan for our children, for our students.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Zamora.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to public comments. Dr. Mitchell, do we have any comments tonight?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Please note the public is welcome to provide comment to the board. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended or limited by the vote of the board. A maximum of 20 minutes unless extended by the board is allocated for each subject discussed. The Brown Act open meeting regulations under which the board must operate do not allow board members to comment on non-agenda items or information you may bring up that are not on the agenda. Additionally, no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a comment. Ms. Ward?
Yes, hi. Our first speaker is Kevin Hayakawa. He's the newly elected Division 4 Director of the Walnut Valley Water District.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, President Pride, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Mitchell, and members of the cabinet. My name is Kevin Hayakawa, and I just wanted to introduce myself to the board as the newly elected Division 4 Director for the Walnut Valley Water District, representing East Rowland Heights. I know it may sound strange to you that I am speaking tonight, if you are obviously not the Walnut Valley Unified School District Board, but indeed significant portions of Rowland Heights lie in the Walnut Valley Water District, including the neighborhoods surrounding Ibarra Academy, Shellen Elementary, Killian Elementary, Rowland High School, and even the RUSD District Office are within Walnut Valley service area. I see it as a big part of my job to make sure that the schools and neighborhoods I represent are not forgotten or left out of water policy discussions just because their water district is not perfectly aligned with their school district. RUSD means so much to me, as I am a proud alumnus of John A. Rowland High School and actually attended RUSD schools for my entire K-12 education, starting at Ibarra Academy and later at Telford, back when it was still Rincon Intermediate School. I also wanted to thank Assistant Superintendent Alex Flores for taking the time to meet with me in the fall during my campaign, back when I was still just a candidate and quite frankly a nobody. Our Zoom conversation was brief yet substantive, and I thank him for sharing with me his wisdom of how the trickle-up power of teaching water conservation to our students and his concerns regarding pipe access to recycled water and so much more. I'd also like to thank Mr. Malkin and the Kiwanis Club of Rowland Heights for organizing the nonprofit open house last month, and of course thank Dr. Mitchell for being the keynote speaker. That presentation really challenged the way I perceived my hometown and home school district, especially with a very large number of RUSD students that meet the federal definition of homeless, which, if I recall correctly, was more than 3,000, if I understood that correctly. This really just goes to show that there's a lot of work to do and that there's a lot that we can accomplish together. As a community college educator myself, I understand some of the challenges that our students and teachers are facing in this pandemic. Lastly, I understand that the board is currently undergoing an internal transition, so I wanted to take the time to thank President Pride and former Vice President Evenkamp for their service and for their steadfast leadership over the past 7+ years. With that being said, it has been nice to see some familiar faces as well as meet new people tonight, and I look forward to partnering with RUSD to provide clean, affordable water to the residents of Rowland Heights and Delaware. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hayakawa. We appreciate your comments. Ms. Ward, next.
Yes, hi, we have guest speaker Roy Humphreys.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I've been following those 2 sessions that you've had information for the persons to be appointed and so forth, and it seemed to be a sliding that nowhere was it noted that the persons such as Roy Humphreys and Carlos Perez, attorney at law, were the principals who allowed this process of voters' rights to ensue in this district, whereupon if it hadn't been for them, voting rights in Rowland Unified School District would have been denied through 2022, perpetuating the de facto segregation of this district, and as was evident during the processing of the Voting Rights Act, that the superintendent and board refused to have any of the public hearings on the north side of the district. Also moving along here, I'm still appalled at the treatment by this district and its superintendents regarding Harry Peterson and his swan song of departing and the obstruction of appropriate publication, so forth on that, and that the backdoor situation that has ensued on his recognition, it's just appalling. So we can only hope that, and we know that there's only one thing that's guaranteed by change, as such as the Voting Rights Act. That is the opportunity for change, which can actually only guarantee that one thing. Thank you very much.
And Ms. Ward, our final speaker tonight, please.
Yes, we have Miss Amy Urbien.
Good evening, President Pride, School Board, Dr. Michelle, and Cabinet. ARE wants to express their appreciation of former board member Lynn Ebbingham. We wanted to thank her for her years of service to Rowland Unified and the community of Rowland Heights. We do wish her and her husband the best as they start a new chapter of their lives in a new community and state. Our association also would like to thank President Pride for the past 7 years of service to Rowland Unified as our board member. I know you will always be involved in some capacity as you will always support our students. On a personal note, one of my fondest memories I have with Ms. Pride is when her daughter Marika was nominated homecoming queen, and at the homecoming game, we were so proud of her, and the smile you had that evening lit up the entire stadium. I also remember you when Cameron played football, and you would work hard on those Friday nights, making sure the snack bar was running smoothly and whatever the football boosters needed those nights. Your support went beyond Rowland High, and students at Nogales also looked up to you as their own mother. I look forward to see the work you will do and can't wait to see the impact and need you will have on educating our young adults to be active citizens, whether it's registering them to vote and getting them to the voting, our voting locations, and convincing them to even run for public office in the future. I will miss your smile on the board and your reports, but I know you will not be far away. As we move forward and plan the vacant RUSD board positions, ARE has already spoken and talked that Donna Freeman should be appointed and finish the term of Ms. Ebbingham. As we continue to advocate for a safe return to in-person instruction, Ms. Freeman has been involved in those discussions as a recent board member. As a classroom teacher herself, she understands what a majority of our members are going through and agrees that learning is happening in our current environment. It's just not in a building. So we can't have in-person instruction until our community is safe. For Trustee Area 1, we hope that the board will appoint someone who knows and understands the needs of all stakeholders of the district. The person should know what the vision is for the district in the long run, but also know that keeping our community safe during this pandemic is the top priority. We also would like the best qualified candidate as always, and whoever does get appointed, we look forward to working with them as we continue to work together to provide the best education for our students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Urbien, and thank you on behalf of Ms. Ebbingham and myself for the kind words. And yes, I think I'll always be remembered at Rowland for being in a snack shack or at a cheer camp or a choir show or something. Thank you so much. I really appreciated your words. And we will be working together on that voting thing. And are there any other speakers, Ms. Ward?
There are no more at this time.
Great, thank you. So now we will move on to our discussion action items. Next, we have our annual financial audit report. Can I have a motion and a second to accept the annual financial audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020 as submitted by Nigro and Nigro PC?
I make a motion to accept the financial report.
I have a motion by Mr. Malkin and a second by Mr. Venegas. And I will turn it over to Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you very much. So this evening we are pleased to share with the board and our community our annual audit report information. And Mr. Flores is going to take it from here and introduce the auditor for provide additional detail.
Thank you very much. From Nigro and Nigro, Peter Glenn will be presenting the audit that he oversaw. And I do want to thank his firm and also all the staff members who were diligently preparing for this audit. It's not a one-day event. It's throughout the whole year with a lot of different steps. As this pandemic has hit all of our school districts, the audit is actually done in January, but was actually moved back until March. We were able to turn it in today and present it to you. So Mr. Glenn will be sharing with you the process that was taken and an overview of the audit. And again, it's an independent audit. Mr. Glenn?
Thank you, Alex, and good evening, President Pride and Superintendent Mitchell, members of the board and cabinet. Thank you for the opportunity to just briefly go over the audit process with you tonight. As was mentioned, typically our audit starts around February, March, and then culminates in a finished product that we submit to the state controller, the CDE, and the feds. All December 15th is the deadline. But as you all know, because of SB 98, which was a result of the COVID crisis pandemic, the Ed Code was adjusted to allow this year to go all the way to March 31st. So we're happy to say that submitting a report a lot sooner than that. So the process really, I was looking back through the work papers tonight to kind of talk about the timeline. And what I found kind of struck me was the first week that we were originally going to go out and visit the sites, which was to do our attendance testing and our ASB testing, was the week of March 16th. So, if there was a week that, was worse than that, I don't know. But, so what ended up happening is a lot of those steps that we normally would do in March, April, and even May, those got pushed into, remote auditing, where we had the district use our secure server, secure portal, and upload items. And they used those all the way up till the end. And also we did our site testing all the way into November. So that crossed into September and November when we did some of those sites. Also wanted to mention that, the audit compliance steps on the federal side, they were busy putting out the uniform guidance, which they did in August, but they then had to come out with the addendum for the CARES Act funding. And although the district didn't use some of that, what I would call maybe direct, clear-cut CARES Act funding, the federal government actually did, supplement USDA, which does affect that huge food program. So, they granted waivers. So it did change our audit procedures in some of those areas too. And so that addendum didn't come out till around Christmas time. So, we're way late into the year. So all that is to say that, this was a very unusual year when it came to the timeline, but in the end, the audit steps remained the same. We did look at different risks that would normally be there in a normal year, which, because of the remote nature of, work and things like that, where you have, because we're always checking for our transactions approved, and, is it going through the correct process as part of our controls testing. So that, obviously we had to kind of re-interview a lot of people to see, okay, what kinds of things changed, and how were your policies changed through all of this, just so we made sure we did our due diligence and everything, and get our documentation straight. So, we're happy to report at the end of the day, after all that's said and done, that we gave the district an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. So basically that is to say that the financial statements are fairly stated. If you're looking at the audit report, that's in the opinion page on page 1 of the report. And that page talks about the responsibilities of the various parties. It also talks about kind of the standards we're using, so governmental auditing standards, making sure that the district is reporting in line with GAAP, the K through 12 audit guide, which is the state's piece of that, and then of course the federal, which I've already talked about a little bit. So again, the audit opinion is an unmodified opinion, which we also like to call that a clean opinion, aka a clean opinion, which means the financial statements are fairly stated. So that in turn, again, as it was mentioned, by an independent source, can give the district and also your stakeholders confidence that what you're seeing reported fairly represents the financial condition of the district. And also in the areas of compliance, where we did audit compliance area that are considered relevant by the state and by the federal government programs that we audited, that those also were clean and we didn't have any findings there. So just to kind of give you an example, two presentations prior to mine was a LCAP. So that's actually one of the things that we test every year. Of course, 2021, that's out. Going forward, normally, in a normal year, that would be something we would test. So just an example is one of the things that we look at from a state standpoint. And another one of the areas we look at is the trends for the district. We report that on page 71 of the audit report, and that shows if the district has sufficient reserves within the recommended level by the state, and you can see by looking at that page 71, that indeed this year and also looking forward to next year based off the budget, there will be sufficient reserves within the recommended level. I also want to echo thanks to Aubrey Craig and his department as he was really working hand in hand with myself and also my audit team who did the lion's share of work with the audit. And so we wanted to express our thanks to Aubrey Craig and also the remaining, unmentioned people at the district too in the various departments that assisted in getting the information to us, whether it was in person or whether it was remotely in our secure portal. So, but again, I wanted to thank everyone, and we look forward to working with the district again in the coming month and tackling 2021 and all that that will bring. So, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to.
Questions for it?
I just have a comment. I want to thank Mr. Flores, but more importantly, to Aubrey Craig and line staff that make Mr. Flores look good in this audit. And I think this is the third year that it's been with no significant findings. And that's a big change from when we were, say, 5-10 years ago. So you've made a big change, but more importantly, your staff has done a fantastic job. And I also want to thank you for the transparency. I see what you present at our board meetings, but more importantly, what you present at the CBOC. The CBOC gets more information now than they've ever received. So you've been a great role model and a great example for your staff of how it should be done. So thank you, Mr. Flores, but more importantly, thank your staff.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Venegas?
And if I can just add to that, I do auditing for a living, so to not have findings is a huge statement. So if they've gone through your whole process and they're saying you're being transparent coming in as a third party, that is a high recommendation. So I do appreciate that, and to your team.
Any other comments?
I echo Mr. Malkin. Yeah, thank you for your hard work, Mr. Glenn and your team. And Alex, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Thank you, Mr. Flores, and please thank your staff on behalf of the board for all the hard work that they've put in regarding the audit. So now I need we have a motion on the floor to accept the audit as submitted by Nigro and Nigro. So we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Malkin?
Aye.
Mr. Venegas?
Aye.
And for Ms. Pride, it is an aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we move on to a resolution number SO 2021-09, National Music in Our Schools Month for March 2021. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution SO 2021-09, proclaiming March 2021 as National Music in Our Schools Month?
I move.
I have a motion by Mr. Chen.
I'll second it.
A second by Mr. Malkin. Any discussion or questions?
I just want to say that this motion means so much to me now because Rowland has gone to, Music for All. And with the new Performing Arts Theater over at Rowland High School, remodeling of Nogales High School, and now air conditioning of all the multi-purpose rooms, at the other schools, and the gymnasium, where a lot of the performances take place. It's just, Rowland has really moved ahead of the game as far as the arts are concerned and music.
Any other comments? And I agree with you, Mr. Malkin, 110%. You said what I was going to say. So we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Malkin?
Aye.
Mr. Venegas?
Aye.
And for Ms. Pride, it is an aye. Next, can I have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution SO 2021-10 proclaiming March 2nd, 2021 as Read Across America Day?
All motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Venegas.
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Malkin. Any questions or discussion? I just want to say that even when I leave the board, I will be back for this event because I love reading to the kids, especially the TKs and the kinders. They are so much fun. If you guys have never read to those little kids, I suggest you try it. It will make your day. So now we'll call for a roll call vote. Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Malkin?
Aye.
Mr. Venegas?
Aye.
And Ms. Pride is an aye. Motion carries. And now we have, can I get a motion and a second to adopt Resolution AS 2021-12 proclaiming March 8th through 12th, 2021 as National School Breakfast Week and the month of March as National Nutrition Month?
Move. Motion.
I have a first by Mr. Chen and a second by Mr. Malkin. Any questions or discussions?
I'd just like to make a comment. Basically, this was something that was written by Agenda Online, and I'd just like to read this real shortly. Short sentence, I should say. For more than 40 years, the health and well-being of children has been promoted throughout the United States through commemoration of the National School Breakfast Week and National Nutrition Month. The National School Breakfast Program has been linked to improving academic performance, classroom behavior, and physical health. So, in making this resolution, I want to give a big shout out to our nutritional services staff for all they've done. This past year, doing these grab and go meals has been a tremendous challenge, and they've pulled through like champions.
Well said, Mr. Malkin. Any other comments? And, I would also echo Mr. Malkin that not only did they do a fabulous job, but all of those kids who would normally go without a meal, during that time, if it weren't for the grab and goes. We see so much of that in our community, and for the staff to come out during this pandemic and, understanding the need of the students in our community, and for the district to support that. Just wonderful, beyond wonderful. So thank you to all. So we'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Malkin?
Aye.
Mr. Venegas?
Aye.
And for Ms. Pride, it is an aye as well. Next, we have the first reading and review of board policies. The board is being asked to bring forward for first reading and review the attached board policies. This item is for discussion only. No action will be taken this evening. Are there any questions or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, we will move on to our consent calendar. So next is our consent calendar. We will approve all of the items in consent with the exception of items 8B4. Is that correct?
No, I'm sorry, there were no items pulled from consent.
That's what I thought. Okay, I apologize for that. Next is the consent calendar. We will approve all of the items in consent, which as listed below. Can I have a motion and a second on the consent calendar?
Motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Venegas
I'll second.
and a second by Mr. Malkin. And we will take a roll call vote. Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Malkin?
Aye.
Mr. Venegas?
Aye.
And for Ms. Pride, that is an aye as well. Hold on, I scrolled a little too fast there. Next, we come to the board comments. So we will receive comments from the board. And Mr. Chen, we will be starting with you this evening.
I want to, since Mr. Pride is your last formal board meeting, I believe, am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So we have a chance to meet again on next meeting, but it's not as the board study session, then we have no chance to for comments. So I want to say thank you to you, and I enjoyed every meeting with you for the past, how many, 8 years? 9 years, long time, since 2013. And I appreciate your leadership, and you always focus on the kids, and kids call you mama. And yeah, I want to continue more kids call you mama. So, yeah. I'm still stayed in the community and still involved and we still have a lot of chance to work together to make the community better, make the school better, and so wish you the best. And I'm sorry to see you leave, but wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today we have a presentation, Carlos, Principal Osha, and the teachers, the kids, and very informative and very interesting. And I like it. I like the spotlight. It was a very good presentation on video on the students and the teachers tonight. I want to thank again Mr. Glenn's presentation of the from Niagara's the audit and other the work, and thank again Alex for your hard work to make it present for the audit report. And I want to share with you, I attend the Cal SSD meeting, the first time I attend a meeting. Usually that meeting is in Sacramento, but right now we do it on virtual, and that was on January 22nd. And a lot of information I got from that meeting, very, very informative, in Sacramento. The Senate bills and the Assembly bills are related to education. So I want to share with the board of those information. After the meeting, I will share it to Dr. Mitchell and then share it with the board, so we have the same knowledge of what happened in Sacramento. And during the meeting, there was focus on about 3 areas. The first area is the Senate bills focusing on the mental health education, mental health. It was SB 229, 224, 2114. And the suicide prevention, there's 2 bills for suicide prevention. So it's very important for us to monitor those progress of the Senate bills. And the other one that's important to us is the high school graduation for ethnic education. There'll be required graduation requirement for 1 semester of the ethnic education. This is Assembly Bill 101. And another Assembly Bill 22 is related to the transition kindergarten. They proposed the plan for for 4-year-old enrollment starting no later than 2030, and that's Assembly Bill 22. And besides these, there's a lot of other restrictions we are interested to know. So I'm going to send the complete list to Dr. Mitchell for sharing with the board. I want to say Happy New Year to everyone tonight. Tonight is Lunar New Year Eve. Tomorrow is New Year Day. For Asian community, tonight is the big celebration for the Year of Ox. And I also want to share with you a community event for celebrating Lunar New Year. The Rowland High Chinese Association partnered with a company called Drive-Thru Safari is going to have a event in Rowland Heights next week, and we're going to have 12 families share their front yard, putting 12 Chinese zodiac 20-foot balloons on the front yard, and the families drive through, and because of the pandemic, we need to follow the COVID-19 guidelines. This drive-through event and use the app from the map from the app, look for the animals, the zodiac animals, and when they find it, and they can scan the QR code and get information and get the points and answer questions. They're very educational. And after they're collecting all 12, then collect the prize at the end. So that will be a very interesting event. The first time we're trying to do it and have some fun during the pandemic in Rowland Heights. So I hope that will bring some happiness to the community. Yeah. Again, Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Mr. Malkin?
Thank you. First, I want to thank Mr. Lou Perez and his family for their very generous donation to the Rowland Unified School District. You know, it's with community support like that that our students really benefit, and I really appreciate the family for doing that. Secondly, I want to thank the Senior Pathfinders of Rowland Heights, Hacienda Heights Kiwanis Club, and Hacienda Heights Women's Club for sponsoring our Heart and Soul event, would be our 11th event, where we'll be giving out shoes and socks and inspirational letters that was mentioned by the Santana representative, where it'll be the last Friday in February, and it's going to be a little bit different this year. It's going to be a drive-by. The families will drive by that are pre-selected, and they'll get a bag with the inspiration card. They'll get some socks, and they'll also get a new pair of shoes. And we're measuring the students right now for the shoes. But the Hacienda Heights Women's Club really came through with a big donation to help us out, as well as the Hacienda Heights Kiwanis Club. And I want to thank the Rotary Club of Walnut for their generous donation of time, money, support, whatever, for our holiday basket giveaway. It's nonprofits like that that really help out to fill the gaps that we have in providing services to our students. I want to give a big shout out to whoever was in charge of redoing the district website. I see tech support has a picture there. I assume they were involved in it. It's a paradigm shift. I mean, you won't recognize it if you go to the district website. It is just totally different. It's easy to navigate. It's attractive, and it's easy on your eyes, and it's just a great change. It's like a completely new website. So shout out to our tech support and whoever else helped with that. It was mentioned by Kevin Hayakawa that he participated in We Are Stronger Together meeting that I helped coordinate. That was a meeting that I coordinated through the Hacienda Heights Kiwanis Club and Anna Wu, where we brought together nonprofits throughout the area. We had about 52 or 60 people online. Dr. Mitchell was our featured guest speaker, and these nonprofits basically shared what they can do to help during these difficult times. And during the process, I was able to make some connections, and Dr. Mitchell followed up on it. And I think we're going to benefit from the results of that meeting that we had that night. It really was a great meeting. And I want to thank the people in the community who attended the school board orientation sessions. We had 2 of them. And I want to thank them for expressing their interest and for giving up their time to come, to listen, to ask questions. And I hope that it will generate some people applying for the 2 school board positions. I need to apologize to Mr. Flores and the CBOC committee members. I guess age has gotten up to me. I thought the meeting started at 7, but I guess it started at 6. So I logged on just in time to hear a motion to adjourn the meeting. So I did get that motion. But please tell the committee members I apologize for not being there on time. I had it wrong on my calendar. And then, I want to give a shout out in the audience tonight. Notice as a guest is Lynn Ebenkamp. And I see he's out there. So I already missed her. And now we have Angelena Pride. Normally I write something out, and I read it. But I just felt that Angelena needed something from the heart, not something I write. And, I've been going to board meetings for a long time, and before they got onto the board, it was an interesting board to go to those meetings. And we had good people on the board. It was not a cohesive board. And I would contribute that, or I would say that Ms. Pride and Ms. Ebenkamp really was the catalyst that changed that board around. Brought a lot of structure to the board, a lot of common sense, and I would say they made it easier for Ms. Freeman and for myself to join the board a couple of years later because they made such an influence on the way that board functioned. Like Mr. Chen said, I feel like I should refer to you as Mama, but I'm older than you, so I can't. But everybody else does. And, you're going to be missed by a lot of the students in this district. Not missed as a board member, but missed because of what you do. But like you said, you're not going anywhere. You're staying in the district. You'll be there for activities, and you'll still be Rowland Mama. So I'm glad that you'll continue to participate in that function. But, when I came onto the board, you and Ms. Ebenkamp were my mentors, basically, because I didn't have any other mentors at that time. Mr. Chen helped me out a little bit, but when I became a board member, I still have my little note on my laptop that you wrote, "You're going to do all right tonight," with a smiley face. And I keep that on there, because it reminds me of, your confidence in me, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the support that you've given, not just me and the board and the district, but more importantly, the children in our district. And I know every time I would talk to you or you get on a Zoom meeting, there'll be kids being picked up at your house. I remember last time I was on the Zoom meeting, as they're walking out, the person I was picking up, the young child, said, "Where's his shoes?" You had to stop and find his shoes. So I guess I can imagine what your household must be like on a daily basis. But that's why you're so lovable, because you're so down to earth. And you're not arrogant, you're just part of the community and part of everybody's family. And for that, I really thank you. And finally, I want to wish all of our Asian American families a Happy New Year and the Year of the Fox. ox, I should say, ox. The ox in Chinese culture is a hard-working zodiac sign. It usually signifies movement. So hopefully, the world will be less static and less this part of this next year and get more moving in the second half of the year. So we won't be all sitting at home gaining COVID pounds. And like Mr. Ochoa said, we'll gain respect for ourselves by losing some of those pounds. And I'd like, give me a test on this, Cary, I don't want you to laugh. I want to say, Gong Xi Fa Tai. Is that right? Yay, got 2 thumbs up. So for all our Asian people watching, thank you for that. I hope I didn't say anything bad. And finally, keep safe, wear a double mask, wash your hands frequently, and thank you. And we'll be seeing you at our study session. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Malkin. Your words were funny. They were very heartfelt too, but thank you so much. Mr. Venegas.
Ms. Pride, I want to just thank you for your amazing leadership as a board member and president. When I first started considering running for this position, I didn't have a lot of insight and knowledge, and I came to you, and you offered a tremendous amount of guidance, and I see it on the board today. And really what came across is you weren't trying to get me elected, you were trying to get somebody elected that cared about the community and participated and was doing it for the right reasons. And that's where your heart and passion was at. And so I really have a lot of respect. You weren't looking at a person, you were looking at what's good for the community. Thank you so much. I'm going to miss your leadership and how you handle yourself on the board. And David touched on it as well. It's just, you really come across as this wonderful president. So thank you very much. With that, I also want to talk to and thank all the student presenters. I always want to thank the student presenters. We had the flag salute from Bain Javier. I've already acknowledged the Giano students, Halo and Elisa, but I want to talk to them. I'll mention them again. Hector Prado from Santana, Daniel Vincino from Nogales High School, Joseph Steng from Rowland High School. I really do appreciate you stepping up and supporting the community and talking about our LCAP and being that leader, right? That's you guys coming in and doing it, so I appreciate it. And then I also want to thank the community members that have joined our information sessions on the open board positions, and hopefully we encourage you to apply. And in any case, we still want you to be a part of our community and provide service to our community. So thank you for that. I'll give it back to you, Ms. Pride.
Thank you, Mr. Venegas, and especially thank you for those kind words. Okay. So my board comments are going to be fairly short. I feel like I said everything that I needed to say at the last meeting, and I don't want to sit here and cry for half the meeting again. So I'm going to keep this simple. But before I read my report, Dr. Mitchell, I did have one question, and I apologize. I should have asked it right after board comments. There was a comment again about Mr. Peterson, and I wanted to, if you could address that, because I'm kind of confused by that comment on a regular basis.
Yes, would you like me to address that now?
Yes, please.
So, at a previous board meeting, when there was a comment that was made in public comments regarding Mr. Peterson and recognition or certificate, the board asked me to look into it, and I did. I had a very nice conversation with Mr. Peterson, who shared with me that he was recognized. He did receive a card from the CBOC. We had a conversation about it. He was not interested in a certificate. He was quite clear about that. And he and I had a very pleasant conversation. So I believe that matter has been closed.
Thank you, and that's what I had thought. And so every time it was brought up, I was just confused. So thank you for answering that question. So moving on, I would like to thank Mr. Lou Perez and the Walnut Valley Rotary Club on their continued generosity to our students and our district. Our district is a much better place because of people like you and your generosity. I want to thank Giano for their presentation. I especially enjoyed Mr. Coop's presentation and the information that he provided and how he provided it. And of course, the student speakers from Giano as well. And as always, my favorite part of the board meeting is the student board representative reports. So Mr. Venegas, that can now be your favorite part of the meeting. So thank you so much for always giving us great reports and keeping us updated. So last month, I said a lot when I announced that I was stepping down, and that's why I said this evening my comments will be brief. Tonight is very bittersweet for me as I lay down the gavel for the last time as a Rowland Unified School District Board member. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve the students, staff, and community, and an experience that I will never forget. I want to thank each person who supported me in my run for school board back in 2013. Jerry Wang and Shay Lohman, you guys started this, and a whole bunch of other people came on board. And without all of you, I would have never had this honor. So thank you so much. Most of all, I want to thank my mother for instilling in me the importance of service to others, and my kids, Cameron and Mariko, for being my biggest cheerleaders and supporters. As I reluctantly step down, I take solace in knowing that I'm leaving this district in a much better place than what I found it. We have come a long way over these past years and made great strides in student achievement, staffing, and all levels of facilities, the arts, and so much more. This governance team has been amazing to work with, and I pray that they will remain a unified, not uniform, team. I am always here to support you in any way that I can. A friend sent me a quote this morning that said we must be willing to let go of the things we have planned so as to accept the things that are waiting for us. So I look forward to continuing to serve the students of our district in other ways and the new journey that awaits me. Just a few brief words to my colleagues. Mr. Chen, I'm going to miss your smile, and the reason I'm going to miss your smile is because your smile is always a happy smile. It's not just it's always happy. And I'm also going to miss our conversations about traveling and the new places to eat in Rowland Heights. Mr. Malkin, I'm going to miss fighting over the snack basket with you. I've won tonight, I haven't. And all of the desserts and watching Donna slap your hand when you shouldn't be eating them. I'm also going to miss our conversations about politics and in discussions with you and Terry about always giving back to the community. Mr. Venegas, we haven't known each other long, but from that first conversation that we had at my house, I knew that you would be an amazing board member. And I look forward to continuing watching you grow in your role, and I know that I am leaving you in great hands with Mr. Malkin and Mr. Chen. Maddie, from the first time I met you, I liked you instantly. Why? Because you always spoke about our students. Everything that you said when you gave us a report was linked to the students. And that told me that you were here for the right reasons and you were the best person for that job. So thank you for all of your hard work and dedication to our students. And I'll also miss our conversations about how young we are. So thank you. For Dennis, you have brought an organized calm to our HR department. And I was able to sleep once you came on the board. You work so hard for our staff, and that is so much appreciated. And as, again, you're one of the people I enjoy talking about traveling with, and I'm going to miss those conversations, and I'm also going to miss the nice gifts that you bring back when you travel, the little souvenirs you bring us. Alex, you've worked your butt off to get our administrative services back on track. It wasn't an easy job at all, and I can't thank you enough for all that you did. Your hard work, your commitment, and your transparency to the district. You truly have put us in a much better place. And then, of course, there's football, and football. I am going to miss our football conversations, but I want you to be on the lookout because my Jacksonville Jaguars will be coming back in full force this next season. Dr. Mitchell, you came to our district at the right time. You work so hard and you're so dedicated to the success of our district. The programs and opportunities that you have brought our students and our schools have really put Rowland on the map. I was telling a group of board members recently that I remember when I first got on the board and people would say, oh, what district are you from? And I would say Rowland Unified. And they would be like, oh, we've heard some things about going on at your district. And now it's changed so much once you came on board. I would tell people, they would say, what district do you work for? And I say, Rowland, or you're a board member at, and I say, Rowland Unified. And they'd be like, are you guys hiring? You guys have any openings? I heard this about this school. I seen this about that school. And that just brought me so much joy to see our district get back to the place where it once was and where it should always stay. So thank you for your hard work and dedication. As a board president, I, at this meeting, have this last opportunity to provide direction to the superintendent, and I would like the superintendent to provide this direction to her staff as well. And you know what it is already. Take a time out, each and one of you. You guys work hard. I've had conversations with almost all of you on weekends, and you know, at 8 o'clock at night. And while I appreciate everything you do, I don't want you to get burnt out. I want you guys to make sure that you take a break, take time for yourself, take time for your family, and enjoy life. So that is my last direction to Dr. Mitchell, and for her to give that direction to her cabinet as well. And the same goes for you board members. You know, do what you can and keep going on the road that you're on, and you guys will continue to have an amazing governance team. And I just pray that the people we appoint will keep this district moving in the right direction.
I just want to add, you know, you mentioned, Dr. Mitchell, for those people in the audience that don't know, that it was after you and Ms. Ebbington came on board that you hired Dr. Mitchell
yes.
to be the superintendent. And then Dr. Mitchell brought Mr. Flores, Mr. Bixler, Natty, Dr. Zamora to the district. So your legacy is going to be bringing Dr. Mitchell on board, who then brought the other people on board that makes this great cabinet we have now. And I really attribute that to you and Ms. Ebbington for doing that.
Thank
really
you.
Catalyst.
It was a team effort at that time, but I can always tell people when they've asked me, I've gotten a lot of nice emails and texts and phone calls since I announced that I was stepping down, and I want to thank everybody who reached out to me. I really, really appreciated your kind words and support and the stories and of our relationships. But I tell people all the time that, you know, our district is where it is because of this whole team, the governance team, the cabinet. We all just really worked well together, and that was all based off of respect for one another. And, you know, I know that you guys will keep that, and you'll keep moving it forward, and you guys will be good. And I, like I said at the beginning, I leave, and I feel sad, but I know I'm leaving it in a good place. So I'm, in that aspect, I'm okay. And that's all I have. So if there is nothing further, can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting in honor of our president, Ms. Angelena Pride.
Dr. Mitchell, you had unmuted. Did you have something, or were you just unmuting?
No, I just really wanted to say before we close this meeting, on behalf of all of our staff, all of the employees in Rowland Unified Schools, our appreciation and our gratitude to you and to your leadership. So you will be greatly missed. I know we still have another meeting and we have more days left in this month, but thank you, Ms. Pride, for everything we've done for the students, the staff, the parents, and our community as a whole.
Thank you. So, Mr. Malkin, as you were saying.
Yes. Madam President, in honor of your term and your service to the school district and to our students and our
Can
community.
I interrupt you for one quick second?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but when you said Madam President, it made me think of one thing that I will miss. When I got elected to the board, my boss had seen a piece of mail on my desk from one of the local cities, and it said Honorable Angelena Pride on it. And she says, Honorable, is that how they address you? And I told her, yes, and that's how you should address me as well. And so she always makes this joke over the years where sometimes she'll address me as Honorable Angelena Pride. And so I'm going to see if I can work her into still doing that sometimes. I'm sorry, I just had to tell that story.
Okay. Honorable President. In honor of your long-term service to our district, our community, and our students, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I will gratefully, so I will adjourn this, the Rowland Unified School Board meeting of February 11th, 2021 at 8:11 p.m. Thank you, everybody.